Welcome to our channel Sci-Fi. Play subscribe to our channel and like this video. Once upon a time, in a small town on Earth, there was a young man named Jake. He was just an ordinary guy, working at a local bookstore and spending his free time reading. One chilly evening, while walking home, he noticed something strange in the sky. A bright light zipped across the horizon, leaving a colorful trail behind it. Intrigued, Jake followed the light until he reached a clearing in the woods. There, he witnessed something unbelievable. A spaceship, shimmering with colors he had never seen before, stood silently on the ground. Hesitant but curious, Jake stepped closer. Suddenly, a door opened, and out came a family that looked very different from any humans he had ever seen. The family had green skin, 4 arms, and large, glittering eyes. The father, wearing what looked like a shiny suit, stepped forward and introduced himself. "Greetings. I am Zarnok of the Nephil family. We come in peace." Jake was speechless. This was not something he expected to see in his quiet town. Zarnok continued, "We need your help. Our daughter, Lyra, has chosen you as her mate." Before Jake could react, a young alien girl stepped out behind Zarnok. She looked at him with her big, luminous eyes. Lyra was beautiful in a way he had never seen before. Her skin sparkled like the stars, and her smile was warm and inviting. "Marry her?" Jake stuttered, still in shock. "I mean, I don't even know anything about your world." Zarnok waved his hand dismissively. "Do not worry. You will learn everything you need. We have traveled many light years to find you. It is an honor to join our families." Jake felt overwhelmed. "This can't be real," he said, shaking his head. But deep down, he was curious. What was it like to live in a world far from Earth? What adventures awaited him? Seeing his hesitance, Lyra stepped closer. "Jake, I have seen you in my dreams. You are kind and brave. I believe we could be happy together." Jake took a deep breath. As he looked into Lyra's sparkling eyes, a strange sense of calm washed over him. Perhaps marrying an alien wasn't the craziest idea he had ever heard. "Okay," he said slowly. "But what about my life here?" Zarnok smiled. "We can take you to our planet, Nephila. You can live there, and we will guide you. Your life on Earth will stay as is, but you will join our family." Jake's heart raced with excitement and fear. He thought of his job, his friends, and all he knew. Yet, the idea of exploring a distant planet filled with alien wonders was enticing. Before he could change his mind, he nodded. "All right, I'll do it." The Nephils cheered joyfully. Zarnok clapped his hands, and a beam of light shot down from the spaceship, wrapping around Jake. Moments later, he found himself inside the gleaming vessel. The interior was filled with all sorts of strange gadgets and colorful lights. Lyra showed him around, excitedly explaining the different technology. "This is a teleportation zone," she said, pointing at a glowing panel. "And over there are our living quarters." Jake could hardly believe his eyes. Everything was so different from Earth. As the spaceship sailed through space, Jake learned about Nephila, the aliens' home planet. "It is filled with beautiful floating islands and sparkling rivers," Lyra said, her eyes shining. "We have festivals that last a whole week, and everyone celebrates together." Finally, they arrived at Nephila, and Jake was in awe. The world was even more stunning than Lyra had described. Floating islands covered in glowing plants dotted the landscape, and gentle rivers of liquid light shimmered below. The Nephil family's home was a magnificent structure that floated above the ground. Inside, Jake was introduced to Lyra's mother, who was just as welcoming as Zarnok. "Welcome to our family," she exclaimed, her voice soothing and melodic. Jake's initial excitement began to fade as he realized he knew little about alien customs. He felt out of place at the family gatherings, where everyone spoke in a language full of musical sounds. One day, during dinner, Lyra's mother announced, "Jake must learn our ways. It is important for his union with Lyra." Lyra looked at him with hopeful eyes. "I will teach you, Jake. We must work together." As the days passed, they spent time exploring Nephilim and learning about each other's cultures. Lyra taught Jake the Nephilian language, while he showed her pictures of Earth. They became closer, sharing laughter and stories. A beautiful bond blossomed. However, Jake faced challenges. He struggled to fit into a world where everything was different. One evening, after a long day, he sat outside feeling overwhelmed. Lyra found him staring at the stars. "What troubles you?" she asked gently. "I miss Earth sometimes," he admitted. "I'm glad to be here, but I feel so lost." Lyra sat beside him, her presence comforting. "You do not have to lose your past to embrace your future. You are part of both worlds now." Her words struck a chord in Jake. With her support, he began to adapt. He learned the bustling customs of Nephilim, participated in lively festivities, and even made friends among Lyra's family. As time passed, he realized how much he loved Lyra, her laughter, her kindness, and her bravery. They stood together on a hill, overlooking the glowing rivers, and Jake finally understood what it meant to be a part of something special. One sunny day, Zarnok called everyone for an important announcement. "It is time for the wedding to take place," he declared. Excitement filled the air surrounding Jake and Lyra. The whole family gathered, and there were joyful celebrations to honor the union. Standing beneath the twinkling lights, surrounded by friends, Jake felt a wave of happiness. Lyra looked beautiful in her flowing gown, and as they exchanged vows, he knew he had found a new home not just on Nephilim, but in Lyra's heart. Together, they blended their cultures and created a bond that celebrated both their worlds. Jake had once been just an ordinary guy, but now he was part of something extraordinary, an adventure that began with a chance encounter with an alien family that changed his life forever. The year is 2742. My name is Alex, and I'm a simple farmer on the planet Xylos. Xylos is a lush, green planet, far from the bustling spaceports and galactic politics. We grow special glow berries, which are highly prized across the galaxy for their unique energy properties. Life was peaceful until the ZZ Glorg spaceship landed in my field. The ZZ Glorgs looked odd. Tall, slender beings with skin like polished amethyst and eyes that shimmered like distant stars. Their leader, a towering figure named Zorp, approached me with a translator device strapped to his chest. He spoke in perfect, if slightly accented, English. "Greetings, Earthling," Zorp boomed. "We are the ZZ Glorg family, and we have come to arrange a marriage." I blinked. "A marriage? But I don't know you." Zorp chuckled, a low rumble in his chest. "Formalities, formalities. My daughter, Zella, has chosen you. It is ZZ Glorg tradition. The most eligible bachelor on Xylos, according to our advanced matchmaking algorithms." Zella emerged from the spaceship. She was beautiful, in a strikingly alien way. Her amethyst skin was softer than it looked, her eyes held a captivating depth, and her hair flowed like liquid starlight. She offered a shy smile. She was nothing like the girls I knew back on Earth. I was stunned. I'd never even considered intergalactic marriage. Moreover, I'd been secretly pining after Illyra, the owner of the spaceport cantina who served the best spiced glowberry juice in the sector. Illyra, with her fiery red hair and quick wit, was everything Zella wasn't, familiar and comfortable. My initial shock turned into a cautious curiosity. The ZZ Glorgs were clearly technologically advanced. Their spaceship was a marvel of engineering, sleek and silver, humming with unseen energies. They offered to show me their ship. It was a mesmerizing experience. The ship was filled with strange, beautiful technology one couldn't even begin to understand. They explained their culture, their history, their deep connection to the cosmos. They explained that Zella was just as curious about Earth culture, that she sought a husband who would help bridge the gap between their species. Days turned into weeks as I learned more about the ZZ Glorgs. I discovered they were a peaceful, family-oriented people with a deep respect for nature and a fascinating philosophical view of the universe. Their technology was breathtaking, a stark contrast to the simple tools I used on my farm. They had mastered interstellar travel and had a vast understanding of the cosmos, yet they maintained a humble respect for the natural world. They valued cooperation and knowledge sharing above all else. The more time I spent with them, the less strange they seemed. Zella, in particular, proved to be intelligent, kind, and surprisingly funny. Meanwhile, Illyra seemed distant. She noticed my growing relationship with the ZZ Glorgs, and her usual cheery disposition waned, replaced by a quiet resentment. She seemed jealous, but the reason for this was unclear. Zorp, always the pragmatist, set a date for the wedding. He explained the intricate ZZ Glorg wedding rituals, which involved a cosmic dance under a binary sunset and a ceremonial exchange of bioluminescent crystals. The preparations were a fascinating blend of alien and human traditions. As the wedding day approached, I found myself torn. A part of me, a deeply ingrained human part, still yearned for Illyra, for the familiar comfort of a life I knew. Another part of me, however, was captivated by the ZZ Glorgs, by Zella's unique charm, and by the promise of a life filled with discovery and adventure. Illyra's jealousy was escalating. She started spreading rumors about the ZZ Glorgs being deceitful and manipulative. On the wedding day, amidst the shimmering lights and exotic music, Illyra confronted me. She confessed her love and explained her insecurities, fearing that I would leave Xylos to go live with a completely different species and leave her behind. The sight of Illyra's tears, her vulnerability, made me realize the extent of my own indecision. I spoke with Zorp, explaining my conflicted emotions. Zorp, surprisingly understanding, listened patiently. He even offered to help mediate a conversation between me, Illyra, and Zella. Zorp, Zella, Illyra, and I sat down for a discussion. It became clear that the communication breakdown was due to a misunderstanding. Illyra's fears stemmed from lack of knowledge about ZZ Glorg culture, and Zella's eagerness to embrace human culture was misinterpreted as a threat. After a long discussion, Illyra expressed her respect for Zella, and Zella expressed her newfound understanding and empathy for the human culture. In the end, I didn't marry Zella. I decided that a love story based on misunderstanding and cultural clashes was no foundation for a marriage. But the ZZ Glorgs remained, becoming valuable friends and collaborators, paving the way for a stronger alliance between our species. My relationship with Illyra thrived, strengthened by the mutual experience of learning about interspecies diplomacy. My glowberry farm continued to prosper, thanks to ZZ Glorg technology, and Xylos embraced a new era of galactic cooperation. My life, initially thrown into turmoil by an alien marriage proposal, had instead blossomed into something far more meaningful. The year is 2742. My name is Alex, and I'm a simple farmer on the planet Xylos. Xylos is a peaceful place, known for its glowing flora and strangely delicious, purple potatoes. My life was ordinary until the arrival of the ZZ Glorg. The ZZ Glorg spaceship landed in my potato field, leaving a crater the size of my barn. 3 ZZ Glorg emerged. They were tall, thin beings with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that glowed a faint lavender. Their leader, ZZ Glorg Prime, spoke in perfect English, a fact that immediately made me suspicious. "Greetings, Earthling," he boomed, his voice echoing strangely. "We require your cooperation." With them was a ZZ Glorg girl, about my age. She was shorter than the others, with large, curious eyes. She clutched a strange, shimmering device that looked like a cross between a tablet and a seashell. I learned later it was a universal translator, explaining their perfect English. I learned her name was Zizirilla. Cooperation? I asked, cautiously backing away from the crater. My trusty laser-powered potato harvesting tool felt woefully inadequate. Yes, ZZ Glorg Prime stated. Our daughter, Zizirilla, has chosen you as her mate. I stared. Chosen me? I sputtered. But I don't even know her. ZZ Glorg Prime explained their customs. In ZZ Glorg society, mating is decided not by romantic feelings, but by a complex algorithm run by their ancient mother computer. This algorithm factored in genetic compatibility, social standing and, inexplicably, a preference for human males with a talent for potato farming. Apparently, my purple potato yield was legendary across several solar systems. The mother computer had spoken, and its pronouncements were absolute. Zizirilla, who had been silent until now, looked at me with a mixture of curiosity and what might have been nervousness. She was beautiful, in an alien way. Her obsidian skin shimmered under Xylos's glowing sun, and her lavender eyes held a depth I hadn't seen in any human. The other two ZZ Glorg, ZZ Glorp, and ZZ Gloria, began setting up a temporary camp near my house. They were surprisingly helpful. ZZ Glorp, the taller of the two, had a knack for fixing farm equipment, and ZZ Gloria was surprisingly good at baking, though her space cakes contained an unusual amount of glitter. Over the next few weeks, I learned more about the ZZ Glorg. They were surprisingly advanced, capable of interstellar travel and possessing technology far beyond anything humans had developed. Yet they also had their eccentricities. They were obsessed with Earth reality television shows, particularly those focusing on farming. ZZ Glorg Prime had a particular fondness for old reruns of Farmer Wants a Wife, which explained much. Zizirilla, despite the arranged marriage, was remarkably open-minded. We spent hours talking, despite the language barrier sometimes resulting in hilarious misunderstandings. She was fascinated by human culture, and I found myself captivated by her unique perspective on the universe. I learned about the ZZ Glorg's history, their struggles against space pirates, and their surprisingly sophisticated art. Her shimmering tablet, she explained, was a repository of centuries of ZZ Glorg art, music, and knowledge. As for the marriage, it seemed less of a demand and more of a cultural obligation. ZZ Glorg Prime emphasized that they respected Earth customs and wouldn't force me into a marriage I didn't want. He suggested a trial period, a getting-to-know-you phase, which was surprisingly considerate. During this trial period, I found myself growing increasingly fond of Zizirilla. Her intelligence, her curiosity, her gentle nature, and her surprisingly good laugh, despite the language barrier, gradually chipped away at my initial apprehension. And then there was her interest in potatoes. We spent hours discussing the finer points of potato cultivation, comparing notes, and sharing techniques. One day, Zizirilla showed me a hidden compartment in her shimmering tablet. It revealed a series of complex equations and calculations, explaining the mother computer's decision. She was the designated peacemaker in their species, assigned to improve relations with humans based on data analysis. It was the mother computer's ultimate hope for interstellar diplomacy. The pressure lifted. I realized that this wasn't a forced marriage, it was a calculated but heartfelt attempt at interspecies understanding. I proposed to Zizirilla, not because I was compelled to, but because I truly loved her. Our wedding was a spectacular event, attended by both humans and ZZ Glorg. It was a celebration of two cultures coming together, of overcoming differences, and proving that even the most unconventional of arrangements could lead to love. And, of course, there was an endless supply of purple potatoes. My life, once ordinary, became extraordinary, all because of an alien family, a potato harvest, and a mother computer with a penchant for matchmaking. The algorithm might have started it, but love, it turned out, could transcend even the most advanced technology. There once was a young man named Alex who lived in a small town on Earth. He loved to stargaze every night, dreaming of adventures beyond the stars. Little did he know, his dreams were about to come true in the most unexpected way. One evening, while lying on his back in his backyard, Alex noticed a bright light zipping across the sky. It moved faster than anything he had ever seen. Intrigued, he sat up and watched it until it disappeared behind the trees. Curiosity filled his mind, and he decided to investigate. He walked to the spot where he thought the light had landed. As he approached, he saw a strange, glowing object partially buried in the ground. It looked like a small spaceship, round and smooth, with colorful patterns running along its surface. Alex's heart raced with excitement. He couldn't believe he had found a real spaceship. Suddenly, the spaceship made a soft humming noise, and a door opened with a gentle whoosh. Out stepped a family of aliens. There were 3 of them, a tall figure with bright purple skin, a shorter one with a round head and big yellow eyes, and a young girl with sparkling blue hair. They looked at Alex with curiosity and warmth. "Greetings, Earth creature," said the tall alien. "I am Zorak, and these are my family members, Luma and Fidget." Alex was taken aback but also fascinated. "Hello. I'm Alex. What brings you to Earth?" Luma, the young girl, stepped forward. "We need your help, Alex. Our father, Zorak, wants us to find someone special for me." Alex's eyebrows raised in surprise. "Someone special? Like a friend?" "No," Zorak said, his voice firm but gentle. "A mate. A partner. I want you to marry my daughter, Luma." Alex's eyes widened. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Marry your daughter? But, we are from different worlds." "Exactly," Zorak nodded. "That is why you must come with us to our planet. It is part of an ancient tradition. We believe that love can bridge the gap between worlds." Fidget, the small alien, added with excitement, "You would be the first human in our family. Imagine the adventures." Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. He had always dreamed of space travel, but this was a big step. "I don't know, this sounds surreal." "Please, Alex," Luma said, her big yellow eyes sparkling. "I've seen your planet from the ship, and it's beautiful. I want to explore it with you. We could make it work." After a moment of hesitation, Alex took a deep breath. "Okay. I'll go with you." The family cheered, and Alex followed them into the spaceship. Inside, it was bright and colorful, filled with buttons and screens showing images of distant stars. The ship took off, soaring into the sky and breaking through Earth's atmosphere. As they traveled through space, Alex learned more about Luma's family. Zorak was the leader of their planet, a beautiful world called Glythera. It was covered in lush greenery and glittering rivers. Luma loved to play among the trees, and Fidget was always inventing new gadgets to help them. Soon, they landed on Glythera. The air felt different, crisp and fresh, filled with the scent of vibrant flowers. When they stepped out of the ship, Alex was amazed. Everything sparkled under the bright, 3 moons shining in the sky. The family took him to their home, a grand structure made of shimmering materials that glowed softly. The streets were filled with happy creatures, each greeting them warmly. It was an alien paradise, and Alex couldn't help but smile. As days went by, Alex spent time with Luma. They explored Glythera together, visiting its wondrous sights. They swam in crystal-clear lakes, danced under the stars, and laughed together. Despite their differences, they connected in ways that went beyond words. But as their time together continued, Alex also felt the weight of the decision to marry Luma. He loved spending time with her, but he knew he couldn't just leave everything behind on Earth. He worried about what his family would think. One day, as they sat by a glowing waterfall, Luma turned to Alex. "Are you having fun?" Absolutely, Alex replied. But then he sighed. But it's hard for me to think about marrying you. I have my life back on Earth. My family, my friends, it feels like a lot to give up. Luma looked down, her face filled with concern. I understand. But I have never been this happy before. I thought you were the one I was meant to be with. Alex took her hands in his. You mean so much to me, Luma. I've never felt this way about anyone. But it scares me to think about a future so different from what I know. Zorak, who had approached quietly, overheard their conversation. Alex, I understand your fears. But love doesn't choose where it comes from. It chooses based on connection. If you truly care for Luma, don't let these worries hold you back. The next few days were filled with contemplation for Alex. He wandered around the beautiful landscapes of Glythera, pondering his future. He thought about the life he could have with Luma, the adventures they could share across the galaxies. In the end, he realized that love was worth the risk. He returned to Luma by the waterfall, took a deep breath, and said, I want to marry you, Luma. I want to explore the universe together. Luma's face lit up with joy, and she hugged Alex tightly. Zorak, witnessing their love, smiled proudly. They began to plan a wonderful celebration. Both worlds would blend in beautiful harmony. The day of the ceremony arrived, and it was magnificent. Aliens from all over Glythera gathered to celebrate the union of Luma and Alex. They exchanged vows beneath the three moons, surrounded by vibrant flowers and glowing stars. With their families joining in, Alex felt a sense of belonging. It didn't matter anymore where he came from, what mattered was love. And in that moment, he realized that his life was just beginning, full of wonder and excitement. As they shared their first kiss, Alex knew that together, they would write their own story among the stars. The year is 2742. My name is Alex, and I'm a humble farmer on the planet Xylos. Xylos is known for its giant, purple potatoes, which, frankly, are far tastier than Earth potatoes. One day, a spaceship landed in my field, right next to my prize-winning potato patch. It was sleek, silver, and hummed with a low, almost musical thrum. Out walked three beings. They were tall, with skin like polished jade and eyes that shimmered like amethyst. Their leader, who introduced himself as Zorgan, spoke in perfect English, though his voice had a slight echo. He explained they were the Zargonians, from the planet Glorp, and their ship had malfunctioned. They needed a part, a very specific part, that only Xylos had. I, being the friendly sort, offered them my help. They explained they needed a Glorp nub, a component found only in the core of Xylos' largest potatoes. We spent the next few days harvesting potatoes, Zorgan and his team carefully extracting the Glorp nubs while I mainly watched, fascinated. Zorgan's two companions, his wife Xylar and their daughter, Lyra, became part of our process. Xylar was quiet and observant. Lyra, however, was strikingly different. She had her father's jade skin and her mother's amethyst eyes, but there was a mischief in her gaze, a spark of rebelliousness. She loved the potatoes. She even helped me peel some for a hearty stew, which I must say, tasted phenomenal with the Glorp nubs. Over the course of those days, I got to know the Zargonians better. I learned they were a peace-loving species, fascinated by human culture, specifically our farming practices. They found my humble potato farm immensely interesting. They watched me tend to my crops, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and wonder. Then came the unexpected. On the last day, as the ship was ready to depart, fully repaired, Zorgan approached me with a very unusual request. He explained that, according to their ancient customs, Lyra was of marrying age, and they had decided I was the perfect match. He presented me with a small, intricately carved jade box containing a contract. I was dumbfounded. I mean, This was a completely alien, not to mention unexpected proposal. Lyra, meanwhile, simply stared at her shoes, a faint blush coloring her jade skin. I stammered out my surprise, explaining that I was a simple farmer, and this was all a bit too much. Zorgan, however, was quite insistent. He explained that humans were renowned throughout the galaxy for their kindness and resilience, traits Lyra's parents greatly admired. Their ancient customs demanded a mate of high standing and excellent potato growing skills. I was, apparently, the perfect candidate. He smiled, a strangely gentle smile for a being with jade skin. Xyler, who hadn't spoken much throughout the whole ordeal, stepped forward. She explained, in a soft, melodic voice, that they respected my decision, but they also hoped I would consider their offer. They were willing to provide me with advanced farming technology and a lifetime supply of glorp nubs, should I accept their proposal. Lyra finally looked up, her amethyst eyes meeting mine. There was a hint of nervousness, but also, an undeniable spark of hope. It was hard to tell with the peculiar Zargonian expressions, but I felt a connection. I pondered the proposition. This was not at all how I imagined my life unfolding, but it held a certain appeal. The technology alone could revolutionize potato farming on Xylos. Plus, Lyra seemed nice. That evening, under the glow of Xylos' twin moons, Lyra and I talked. We talked about potatoes, of course. About the differences between our cultures, and the similarities. She told me about Glorp, its shimmering rivers and gravity-defying flora. She shared her dreams of opening a potato-themed restaurant on Xylos, and I found myself surprisingly interested. Over the following weeks, I visited Glorp. It was even more spectacular than Lyra described. I met her extended family, an assortment of jade-skinned Zargonians just as fascinated by my farming techniques as the first three. I learned their customs, their history, their love for potatoes, and their surprisingly sophisticated understanding of human comedy. The wedding was a grand affair, a blend of Xylos and Glorpian traditions. There were giant purple potatoes, gravity-defying flowers, and a three-course meal that involved potatoes in every course. Yes, it was weird. Yes, it was unexpected. But it was also perfect. My life as a Zargonian son-in-law is far from boring. I've introduced advanced farming techniques to Glorp, resulting in a bumper crop of their own unique, Glorp-enhanced potatoes. Lyra and I continue to manage my potato farm on Xylos, utilizing the advanced Zargonian tech. We've also opened a potato restaurant, and it's surprisingly successful. I've even published a cookbook detailing the culinary wonders of Glorp nubs. It all started with a spaceship landing in my potato field. Who would have thought a simple potato farmer would end up marrying an alien princess, a princess who shares my passion for potatoes, and who introduced me to a whole galaxy of possibilities. Sometimes, the best things in life are truly unexpected. And sometimes, those unexpected things come with the added bonus of a lifetime supply of Glorp nubs. Once upon a time in a small town named Evergreen, there was a young man named Ethan. Ethan was an ordinary person, living an ordinary life. He worked at a local bookstore, loved to hike in the nearby woods, and spent lazy evenings watching the stars. He often felt there was something more waiting for him beyond his simple life, but he never knew exactly what. One peaceful night, while stargazing on a hilltop, something strange happened. A bright light appeared in the sky, moving faster than any plane Ethan had ever seen. It suddenly changed direction and landed in a nearby field with a loud thud. Curiosity took over, and Ethan rushed to see what had happened. As he approached the glowing craft, it opened with a hiss, revealing a ramp that descended into the grass. From the ship emerged three figures who looked nothing like the people Ethan knew. They were tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like metal. Their eyes were big and bright, shimmering with various colors. Ethan's heart raced. He had read about aliens but never thought he would meet one. The tallest alien stepped forward. "Greetings, Earthling," it said with a voice that sounded like music. "I am Zoroth, and these are my companions, Lina and Gork." Hi. Ethan managed to reply, still in shock. "We have traveled far across the galaxy to find a suitable match for our daughter, Nella," Zoroth continued. "And we believe that you are the one." Ethan blinked, trying to grasp what he had just heard. "Your daughter? Marry her?" "Yes," Lina said excitedly, bouncing on her feet. "Nella is precious to us, and we must ensure she finds a partner worthy of her. You will come with us to our home planet, Zaryl, and meet her." "But I don't know anything about aliens or marriages," Ethan stammered, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. Gork, the biggest alien with a goofy smile, shrugged. "You will learn. It will be fun." Before Ethan could protest, they grabbed his hands, and in a flash, he was pulled up the ramp into the spaceship. The craft hummed to life, and Ethan felt a strange sensation in his stomach as they lifted off the ground. As they soared through the atmosphere, Ethan stared in awe at the Earth shrinking below him. They traveled through colorful layers of clouds and into the dark sea of stars. It was breathtaking, but anxiety filled his mind. What was he getting himself into? After a short journey, the ship landed softly on Zaryl. The landscape was vibrant, with flowers that glowed and trees with silver leaves. Alien creatures roamed freely, some floating in the air, while others crawled on the ground. Ethan couldn't believe his eyes. This was like stepping into a dream. Zoroth led him to a grand palace that sparkled like the stars. "Welcome to our home," he said. Inside, it felt magical. Tall halls were filled with strange artifacts and beautiful music played softly in the background. But Ethan's heart raced as they approached a luxurious room where Nella awaited. She was stunning, an alien beauty with shimmering skin and bright green eyes. When she smiled, it lit up the entire room. "Hello, Ethan," she said softly. "I've heard so much about you." "Hi," he replied, feeling overwhelmed but enchanted. The family introduced Nella and explained more about her. She was a skilled artist with dreams of traveling the universe. Ethan learned that in their culture, arranged marriages were common, but love was still essential. He could feel the pressure building. He wanted to impress her, but he also felt unsure. Nella took Ethan on a tour of the planet. They walked through gardens where flowers sang and visited art galleries showcasing amazing alien works. They laughed and talked, and Ethan realized he was starting to like her. She was kind and curious about Earth, asking about his life and dreams. One evening, while watching two moons rise in the sky, Nella turned to Ethan. "Do you believe in love at first sight?" she asked, her eyes sparkling like stars. Ethan thought for a moment. "I believe in connection. Sometimes when you meet someone, it feels right. But love takes time." Nella nodded, her eyes filled with understanding. "I agree. But my family—" "Yes, your family," Ethan interrupted. "They expect a lot from me." Nella sighed. "They just want what is best for me, as any good family does." Days turned into weeks, and as time passed, Ethan found himself falling for Nella. But deep inside, he struggled with the thought of marrying someone he barely knew. He loved spending time with her, but he was afraid of the commitment. Finally, one evening, he gathered his courage. "Nella, I like you a lot. But I don't think I'm ready for marriage. It feels too sudden." Nella's expression changed, worry flashed in her eyes. "I understand, Ethan. But is it too much to ask for the chance to grow together?" Ethan felt a rush of emotions. He turned to Zoroth, Lina, and Gork, who were watching from a distance. "Can we take this slowly? I want to know her more, to feel what true love is." Zoroth stepped forward, his colorful eyes softening. "We respect your wishes, Earthling. Love should blossom naturally." Days turned into months, and Ethan and Nella continued to explore each other's worlds. They learned about music, art, and shared secrets under the glowing skies. Their bond grew stronger, and Ethan knew he wanted to be with her when the time was right. One day, as they sat together on a hill, Nella took Ethan's hand. "Is it time for you to return to your world?" Ethan nodded, bittersweet feelings filling his heart. "Yes, but I want you to visit me on Earth." Nella smiled, her beautiful eyes glittering. "I would love that." When the time came for Ethan to go, Zorath, Lina, and Gork gathered to say goodbye. "We will continue to support you both," Zorath said. "If love is meant to be, it will find its way." As the spaceship lifted off, Ethan looked back at Nella, standing strong and beautiful. They would find their way, no matter the obstacles. Ethan returned to Evergreen, forever changed. He continued working at the bookstore, but now with a newfound belief in love and connection. The stars twinkled brightly in the night sky, reminding him that the universe had more surprises in store. And one day, he hoped to reunite with Nella, proving that love knows no boundaries, even between worlds. On a quiet night in the small town of Maplewood, I was sitting in my living room, watching the stars twinkle through the window. The sky seemed unusually bright, and I felt a strange sense of wonder. Little did I know, my life was about to change in ways I could never imagine. It all began with a soft humming sound that filled the air. The noise grew louder, and suddenly, a bright light illuminated my room. In a flash, a beam of light shot down, and before I could react, I found myself standing on a strange planet. I looked around, bewildered. The ground was covered with purple grass, and the sky had swirling colors I had never seen before. "Welcome, Earthling," a voice called out. I turned to see 3 aliens approaching me. They were not what I expected. They looked almost human, with smooth, green skin and large, round eyes. The tallest one stepped forward. "I am Zyrek, and these are my family members, Luma and Trix." I blinked in shock. "What do you want with me?" Zyrek smiled, revealing sharp teeth. "We come from the planet Exilia. Our kind has been observing Earth for many cycles. We have seen your world and, more importantly, we have seen you." Before I could ask more questions, Luma, the second alien, spoke. "Our daughter, Zelia, has watched you from afar. She believes you would make a wonderful partner." "Partner?" I repeated, trying to comprehend what was happening. "You want me to marry your daughter?" Trix, the youngest alien, bounced excitedly. "Yes. You will be the perfect match for Zelia. She is kind and brave, and you are from a beautiful planet. Together, you will create wonderful beings." I felt a mix of curiosity and worry. My mind raced. This was insane. But I don't even know her. Zyrek waved his hand, and suddenly, a door opened in the air. From it, a stunning creature stepped out. Zelia had shimmering blue skin and long hair that flowed like liquid stars. Her eyes sparkled with excitement and kindness. I felt my heart race as she approached. "Hello, Earthling. I am Zelia," she said, her voice soft and soothing. "I have watched you closely. I believe we would be great together." I stammered, "I appreciate your interest, but I don't know anything about you or your world." Zyrek stepped in. "That is why we will show you our planet. You will understand our ways, and then you can decide if you wish to marry Zelia." Against my better judgment, I nodded. They led me through the glowing door and into a world unlike anything I had ever seen. Exilia was filled with vibrant colors and magnificent structures that floated in the air. It felt like stepping into a dream. As we toured the planet, I learned about their customs and lifestyle. They used energy from the sun to power their homes, and they had a deep respect for nature. They showed me how they could communicate with animals and plants, sharing a bond that transcended words. I felt both amazed and overwhelmed. Days turned into weeks as I spent time with Zelia. I learned about her hopes and dreams, and I shared my own stories from Earth. Garden, the great tree that glowed with a soft light, became our favorite meeting spot. Under its branches, we laughed and talked, our differences slowly fading away. However, there were challenges. Some of the Exilians were not happy about our bond. They believed that Zelia deserved to marry someone from their own kind. A group of them confronted Xyric one day. They demanded he stop the union and find Zelia a proper Exilian mate. Xyric was firm. Zelia has chosen her path. Love knows no boundaries. We should embrace this union, not fight it. Despite his words, tensions grew. I felt pressure from both sides. Should I marry Zelia and become part of this world, or should I return home where I belonged? Zelia sensed my worries. You do not have to decide right away. Follow your heart, she said, her voice steady. But know that I will always choose you. I spent more time with her, teetering between two worlds. I shared meals with her family, where we laughed and exchanged stories. I learned their language, a beautiful mix of sounds and rhythm, and began to feel more at home in Exilia. As the days passed, I felt a connection to Zelia deeper than I had anticipated. One evening, under the glowing stars, she took my hand. What do you truly want, my beloved? She asked, her eyes reflecting the galaxies above. Taking a deep breath, I said, I want to be with you. I want to build a life together, even if it is far from Earth. Zelia beamed. Then let us stand together against those who do not understand. Our love is powerful. With her support, I approached Xyric and the other family members. I expressed my love for Zelia and my desire to unite our worlds. I told them that love was more important than any differences we had. To my surprise, many of the Exilians began to understand. They saw the bond between us and how it could bring our worlds closer. Days later, the family and I prepared for the wedding. Exilians decorated the great tree, adorning it with glimmering lights and flowers. On the wedding day, I wore a bright robe that sparkled like the stars. Zelia looked stunning in her flowing gown that shimmered with every movement. As we stood under garden, surrounded by both humans and Exilians, Xyric began the ceremony. Today, we celebrate love that knows no bounds, he declared. The crowd cheered, and Zelia took my hand tightly, her smile radiating joy. When we exchanged vows, I felt a warmth in my heart. I realized I had found a new home on Exilia. My life had changed in ways I never expected, and I was ready for all the adventures ahead with Zelia by my side. As we shared our first kiss, the stars twinkled above, and I knew that love truly was a powerful force that could bridge any gap, even across the galaxies. The year is 2742. My name is Alex, and I'm a simple farmer on the planet Xylos. Xylos is a beautiful place, with vibrant purple skies and trees that shimmer with gold. One day, a spaceship landed in my field, bigger than any I'd ever seen. It hummed with a low, resonant sound that vibrated through my boots. Out walked three beings. They were tall and slender, with skin the color of polished jade and large, dark eyes. They wore shimmering robes that shifted colors in the sunlight. The tallest one, who I later learned was named Zorp, spoke in perfect English. "Greetings, Earthling," Zorp said, his voice a melodic baritone. "We are the Zidonians. We come in peace." I was scared, but curious. My dog, a scruffy creature named Sparky, barked nervously at their feet. The Zidonians didn't seem to notice him. The other two Zidonians, a shorter female named Zella and a young man named Zip, observed me with intense interest. "We have been observing your planet for many cycles," Zorp continued. "We are impressed by your resilience, your creativity, and your peculiar sense of humor. He paused, a slight smile playing on his lips. I felt a blush creep up my neck. They explained they were a family on a long journey. Their ship had suffered some minor damage, requiring a short stay on Xylos. They needed a component, a rare crystal found only in a specific cave on my property. In exchange, they offered me anything I desired. I offered them shelter in my barn. They accepted. Over the next few days, I helped the Zidonians repair their ship. Zella, in particular, took a liking to Sparky, often petting him with surprisingly gentle hands. Zip mostly worked on the ship's intricate systems. Zorp spent his time observing my life, my work, even my cooking. Their technology was astonishing. Their tools were sleek and efficient, repairs done with a speed and precision I could only dream of. The Zidonians were fascinated by my simple life. They watched me milk my space cows, harvest my bioluminescent crops, and even showed an unusual interest in my collection of old Earth movies. One evening, under the shimmering purple sky, Zorp cleared his throat. He spoke with gravity, his usual calm demeanor replaced by a serious expression. He explained that they had a daughter. Her name was Zillera. She had been observing me too, he confessed, with considerable interest. It is the custom of our people, Zorp said, that when two beings find mutual interest, a marriage is arranged to foster galactic harmony. He paused, watching my reaction closely. I felt my heart skip a beat. Zillera emerged from the ship then. She was even more beautiful than her parents, with her long, flowing hair the color of twilight and eyes that glittered like distant stars. She was elegant and graceful, exuding an aura of quiet confidence. She had a smile that could melt glaciers. I stammered, I don't know what to say. Zorp chuckled, a low rumble in his chest. Say yes, he suggested gently. It would greatly honor our family. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. The wedding was magnificent, a blend of Zidonian grandeur and my simple Xylos traditions. The ceremony took place under the giant, bioluminescent moon of Xylos. Zidonians arrived in droves, their ships transforming the night sky into a breathtaking spectacle of light and color. Zillera and I learned about each other's cultures. I taught her to ride my space cow, and she taught me how to play a Zidonian musical instrument. It sounds like shimmering waterfalls. We found common ground in our love for simple pleasures, sunsets, laughter, and the company of loved ones. Life with Zillera was extraordinary. The Zidonians helped modernize my farm, introducing new technologies that increased my yields tenfold. They respected my traditions while introducing me to their rich culture. Zillera became a respected member of my community, and I, in turn, became a celebrated figure among the Zidonians. My life, once simple and predictable, was now a vibrant tapestry of two worlds intertwined. Sparky, of course, became the unofficial mascot of the intergalactic marriage. Years passed. Our love grew stronger, and our family expanded. We had children, unique beings that blended our two heritages, blending human resilience with Zidonian grace. The union between the simple farmer from Xylos and the Zidonian princess became a symbol of peace and understanding, a testament to the power of love to bridge even the vastest of interstellar divides. And it all started with a spaceship landing in my field, and a marriage proposal I never anticipated. My simple life on Xylos transformed into an incredible adventure, far beyond anything I had ever imagined. The purple skies of Xylos held even more brilliant shades than before. The year is 2742. My name is Alex Ryder, and I'm a humble space trucker. My ship, the Rusty Bucket, wasn't much to look at, but it got the job done. One day, while hauling a load of nutrient paste across the Andromeda Galaxy, my sensors went wild. A ship, unlike anything I'd ever seen, emerged from hyperspace right in front of me. It was colossal, shimmering, and pulsated with an eerie purple light. Before I could react, a tractor beam snagged my Rusty Bucket. I braced for the worst, expecting to be boarded by pirates or worse. Instead, a ramp extended, and three figures emerged. They were tall, slender, with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that glowed with an inner fire. They spoke in perfect English, their voices melodic and strangely calming. They introduced themselves as Zorgan, his wife Lyra, and their daughter, Xylar. They were a family of Zidonians, a race known throughout the galaxy for their advanced technology and peculiar customs. Zorgan explained that they had been tracking my ship for weeks. They were impressed by my navigation skills, my resourcefulness in navigating a particularly treacherous asteroid field, something I'd actually just gotten lucky on, and the sturdiness of my old bucket. They needed my help. Their home planet, Xylos, was facing a catastrophic energy crisis. Their technology, advanced as it was, relied on a rare mineral found only on a distant planet called Kepler 186f. They had spent years looking for someone capable of navigating the hazardous Kepler system and reaching this planet safely. Their ship, capable of interstellar travel, had suffered severe damage. They had selected me. I was hesitant. This felt strange. But Zorgan offered a deal too good to refuse. Besides my usual fee, which was more than I'd ever earned in a lifetime, they offered me a share of the Kepler 186f mineral once the mission was complete. A fortune. Enough to replace my rusty bucket with a brand new luxury cruiser, maybe even a small fleet. The journey to Kepler 186f was fraught with peril. We encountered solar flares, navigated through asteroid fields denser than any I'd previously encountered, and even evaded a group of space pirates who, luckily, mistook the Zidonian ship for some kind of superweapon and quickly fled. Xylar, surprisingly, proved to be a skilled mechanic. She helped me make several repairs to my trusty, yet increasingly unreliable, rusty bucket. During our journey, I got to know the Zidonian family better. Lyra was a kind and gentle soul, always prepared with nutritious snacks and warm drinks. Zorgan was a stern but fair leader, showing tremendous competence and knowledge of galactic navigation. And Xylar, well, Xylar was something else. She was beautiful, intelligent, and fiercely independent. We spent many hours discussing our cultures, our lives, and our dreams. As we neared Kepler 186f, Zorgan dropped his bombshell. As part of the agreement of securing my help and ensuring a future alliance between the Zidonians and humans, I was expected to marry Xylar. This was not negotiable. Their ancient customs dictated that a successful alliance required a marriage between two key members of different civilizations. My jaw dropped. I was a simple space trucker, accustomed to hauling cargo, not being betrothed to an alien princess. Xylar, surprisingly, did not seem entirely averse to the idea, though she kept a poker face. Her father elaborated that he had examined many potential human candidates and deemed me the most suitable partner based on my resilience and ingenuity. We reached Kepler 186f. The planet was stunning, with landscapes painted in vibrant hues. We extracted the mineral, expertly secured it within the Zidonian ship, and began our journey back to Xylos. The return trip was not as perilous, but it was no less eventful. We faced more asteroid fields, this time deftly outmaneuvering them using a combination of Zidonian and human navigation techniques. On Xylos, the celebration was extravagant. The Zidonian people were overjoyed by our success, and the marriage was declared an incredible moment in galactic history. Xylar and I exchanged vows under the shimmering aurora of Xylos. It was a ceremony unlike anything I could have imagined. The Zidonians celebrated with a radiant light show, and the entire planet seemed to rejoice. Though my life as a space trucker was over, it was replaced by something far more extraordinary. I learned their customs, their history, and their deep-seated love for their home planet. I never stopped learning and adapting. Despite the initial shock of the arrangement, I found genuine love and happiness with Xylar. And the rusty bucket? It was given a place of honor in the Xylos Space Museum, a testament to the unlikely alliance forged in the vast expanse of the galaxy. The unlikely space trucker who married an alien princess, now a respected member of a galactic power. My story, a testament to the strange and unpredictable nature of interstellar relationships and galactic adventures. I never expected my life would change in such a strange way. One quiet evening, while I was stargazing in my backyard, a bright light suddenly filled the sky. It was unlike anything I had ever seen. As I watched in awe, a large shiny spaceship landed in my neighbor's field. My heart raced with excitement and fear. I couldn't wait to see who or what would come out. Moments later, the door of the ship opened with a loud hiss. I stepped closer, curiosity pulling me like a magnet. Out came a family of aliens, their skin shimmering in shades of green and blue. They looked human but with big, bright eyes and long, slender limbs. The leader of the family, a tall figure with a golden crest on its head, stepped forward. "Greetings, Earth creature," he said, his voice like music with a strange echo. "I am Zorak, and these are my family members, Alan, Trike, and our daughter, Lyra." They introduced themselves in a friendly manner, and I relaxed a little. I learned that they were from the distant planet of Glias. Excitement bubbled in my stomach as they shared tales of their adventures across the galaxy. "Why are you here?" I asked, my voice shaking slightly. Zorak smiled widely, revealing sharp but not frightening teeth. "We need your help," he said. "Our daughter, Lyra, has chosen you as her mate. It is time for her to marry, and we have come all this way to ask you." My heart sank. I could not believe my ears. "Wait, what? Marry?" I stammered. The aliens nodded as if it was the most natural thing ever. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Her long, flowing hair was like liquid silver, and she had an infectious smile. "Hello, Earth boy. I think you are perfect," she said, beaming. I didn't know what to say. I imagined my friends laughing at me. "I appreciate the offer, but, I don't really know anything about alien customs. I have a life here on Earth." Zorak raised a hand, calming me. "Do not worry. You will learn all that is needed for this union. And we have great plans for your future." Before I could protest, Alan chimed in, "We must return to Glias soon. Although your planet is lovely, we have little time. If you refuse, we may be stuck here." The thought of delaying their trip scared me. I looked at Lyra, who seemed hopeful and cheerful. What if I was part of something amazing? I took a deep breath and decided to get through this crazy evening. "Okay, what do I need to know?" I asked. "Excellent," Zorak exclaimed. "First, we need to have a rite of union. It is a festival filled with fun, games, and maybe a battle or two." "Battle?" I questioned, feeling a bit uneasy. "Yes, a friendly competition," Trike said, clapping his hands in excitement. "It's all in good fun, but it shows you are worthy of marrying our Lyra." Before I knew it, I was standing in their spaceship, wearing a futuristic but oddly comfortable outfit. The inside of the ship was filled with vibrant lights and strange instruments. It took off, and I felt a rush as we zoomed into space. "Now, let's begin our journey," Alan called out, hitting a few buttons on a shiny control panel. We traveled through asteroids and starry paths until we arrived at Glias, a planet radiant with colors beyond imagination. As we landed, I could see creatures of all shapes and sizes. There were hoverships buzzing, and alien music filled the air. Zorak escorted us through the village, and I felt a mix of excitement and dread. The first event was a game called the Luminescent Leap. I watched other participants jump over glowing obstacles while avoiding traps. My heart raced as I waited for my turn. Finally, it was me against a tall, agile alien. As we leaped, I stumbled, and the crowd gasped. Just as I thought I would fall, Lyra cheered loudly for me, her voice cutting through the noise. Somehow, I managed to regain my balance and won first place with a final leap. The crowd went wild, and Zorik beamed with pride. "Well done, Earth creature," he said. I could hardly believe that I was winning a contest on an alien planet. After the games, it was time for the final test of friendly duel. I was paired with a strong, burly alien named Granth. He looked fierce, but Lyra's smile gave me confidence. The duel was simple, we had to play fight with colorful laser sticks. As the duel began, I ducked and swung, trying not to get hit. Granth was strong but not fast. With my newfound confidence, I used my skills and quickly disarmed him. The crowd roared with delight. "Victory!" Zorik shouted as he raised my hand in the air. I felt like a champion. Lyra rushed to my side, her eyes bright with joy. Maybe this unusual adventure wasn't so bad after all. "Now, the final step," Zorik said. "You must agree to marry our daughter. What say you, Earth Boy?" Everyone looked at me, waiting for my answer. I took a moment to collect my thoughts. "Lyra, would you truly want to marry me, an Earth Boy?" I asked. She nodded eagerly, her excitement bubbling over. "Of course. We will explore the galaxy together. It will be fun." I felt a smile spread across my face. "Okay. I'll marry Lyra." Cheers erupted from the crowd. I realized that despite our different worlds, our hopes and dreams united us. I felt an odd warmth in my heart as I took Lyra's hand. In that moment, I knew my life had changed forever. With an alien family around me and adventures ahead, I was ready for whatever challenges the universe had in store.